It is time to set the ambiance in this kitchen because we are going to be doing some Christmas baking. I knew after all the baking going on today in my kitchen, I was not going to want to be slaving over a stove making dinner. So I have some pot roast going in the crock pot, and we're going to light a candle, a winter blossom scent that smells so good. It smells like Christmas. And we are going to get Santa filled with his cinnamon spice wax so we can just have the smell of Christmas going throughout the entire house. That's how I like to do it when I know I'm going to be doing my Christmas baking. It is an all-day marathon, and we have lots and lots going on, and I was so excited to get started. After I have everything plugged in, candles going, I want to clean up the sink, clean up the kitchen a little bit, get these dishes put away because all I'm going to be doing all day long is baking and cleaning dishes, baking and cleaning dishes. So we're going to start out with a nice clean sink, and then we're going to head over to start making our first cookie. I'm so excited, and I have this video going up after Christmas, so I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. I hope you had a wonderful, beautiful time with your family and friends. Happy Hanukkah as well. They fell on the same day this year, which is pretty awesome. And any holidays you celebrate, I hope you had a beautiful time with you and yours. We had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Christmas. I can't believe it's over. It went by in a blink. I can't even believe Christmas is done. But anyway, I love that we can reminisce now through my baking, and I am just getting everything ready. The island is where I do the majority of the work, so I'm going to get my KitchenAid moved over to there since we're going to be using that a lot today. Getting this area over here cleaned off for the slow cooker that I'm going to be putting there for some of our Crackpot Candy. And I like to get everything out on the counter. I like to get my flour, my baking powder, my baking soda, sugar, anything I know I'm going to be using consistently, I like to go ahead and get out on the counter. My Christmas cookies each year typically stay the same for some. I will kind of switch up what I do with others, and then I like to make one or two different, completely different cookies that I've never made before. So we have some staples that get brought back every year. We have some ones that I might do a little twist on, and then we have some new ones. So I'm excited to share some of my all-time favorite cookies with you. That has always been hits all over the years. This is my Walmart haul of chocolate and peanuts and pure sugar. And this is my kind of mock list of what we're going to be doing today. And I'm starting off with this Crackpot Candy. Now, this is a newbie. I've never made this Crackpot Candy before, but I wanted something that would make a lot for not a lot of cost, and that wouldn't take up a ton of space in little gift bags. So I am making this Crackpot Candy, and it couldn't be simpler. You're basically taking 2 pounds of peanuts, which sounds like a lot of peanuts, but these containers right here from Walmart are a pound each, so get those in there. Then we're going to cut up this chocolate bark that I also got from Walmart. All this stuff came from Walmart. We're going to chop that up and get that in the slow cooker as well as another bark. And I believe that this recipe may have called for 2 pounds, and I'm going to link everything for you guys below if you've been interested in trying any of these, because a lot of these can be made 100, of course, throughout the year and can be used for different holidays. Just switch out the sprinkles and such. So these I actually plan on freezing a few and saving some for some Valentine's Day treats too. This called for a bar of German chocolate as well, and you can leave out the German chocolate. I don't know that it would have made a huge difference, but getting that in there. And then we're just going to get this on in the slow cooker, and you actually just keep this on the warm setting for 2 hours. And after an hour, you want to start mixing it so that you be sure to not burn the bottom of the chocolate. But you'll see throughout this video, we have a lot going on, a lot of moving parts, and I'm going to keep you up with me the whole way. So our first cookie that we're starting with is my peanut butter cookie. And this cookie I have made, I don't even know how many years now. It's been a lot of years. It is always a hit. My husband always makes sure that I'm making them every year. And with all the excitement of cookie decorating, cookie making, I forgot to put my Mrs. Claus apron on. So we're just getting that on because we make a disaster today, but that's okay because we're making cookies. And these peanut butter cookies are so good. We're starting off with our peanut butter and butter that we creamed in the KitchenAid, and then we're going to add a flour, brown sugar, regular sugar, and listen, I don't typically bake like this throughout the year. This video is going to be chock full of chocolate, sugar, butter. These cookies I not only make for ourselves and my family, but we give them to friends and family. We bring them to our family's homes on Christmas Day. I use them as gifts. So these cookies definitely go a very, very long way. And of course, we indulge ourselves too. So don't get me wrong, it's a lot of sugar and a lot of chocolate and a lot of butter. But you know what? This is Christmas time. And to me, that's what it's all about. It's all about a little indulgence and, just enjoying the time that we have. Because as we know, it goes by in a blink. So as I'm making these cookies, I'm going to be constantly washing dishes because I don't want to get overly filled in here. And plus, I only have one bowl for my KitchenAid. So when mixing, different recipes and different ingredients, I like to clean out each bowl between each cookie. That way, if there's any ones that can't have peanuts or the like, nothing gets kind of intertwined. So just getting this mixing bowl rinsed out now that we're done with the peanut butter dough batter. And we're going to put it back on the KitchenAid and get it ready for our next cookies. But which is going to be I don't know that it's technically considered a cookie, but I make biscotti every year. I do not use the same biscotti recipe every year. I try to switch it up. This year, I'm doing an almond biscotti with a dark chocolate dip. They came out delicious, like the perfect companion to a cup of coffee. So I was getting those started, and my first batch of peanut butter cookies were done out of the oven, and these were perfection. So getting those out, gonna let them cool before I transfer them off my pan. And when I when I bake my cookies, I like to only bake one tray at a time. I know it's probably a little silly. It takes me a lot longer, but I don't know. I just feel like my cookies come out better when I don't jam a bunch of trays in the oven and I let it just go one at a time. So we are back to making our biscotti, and we had to put a half a cup, I believe, of the flour mixture aside for later. And we're just going to go ahead and get our wet ingredients in the KitchenAid, and we're going to add in the flour and mix that all together. In the past, I believe the first time I made biscotti, well, you know what's funny? I actually made, it's not considered biscotti. I'll have to look up the recipe. But I actually made for my friends who celebrate Hanukkah a cookie, I guess you can say, that was very, very similar to biscotti. And ever since then, I've been making biscotti ever since because I didn't realize how easy it is. So I have to go on my Pinterest and find what those were because they were delicious. And this recipe calls for coconut oil, which is something I don't typically use in my baking, but I did have some on hand. So I went ahead and put that in there as well. And then we're just getting the dry ingredients all mixed up with the wet ingredients. And biscotti is one of those things I feel like can be totally intimidating, but it's really not. It's actually really easy. It's just a little time consuming, but super, super easy. Getting these peanut butter cookies that came out so perfect onto a wire rack to fully cool. And I'm going to go ahead and roll up another batch to get into the oven before we head back to making our biscotti. These are a almond biscotti, so calls for some roasted sliced almonds that I am coating in that flour that we set aside, and then you want to go ahead and mix it in. Now, when I mixed it in, it was super, super crumbly. It was a little hard to combine. It didn't want you to mix it. The recipe suggests not mixing it in with the mixer, but just folding it in. But as I went, it got a little bit easier each time. And this is our chocolate, and we are an hour in, so I was just stirring that to make sure nothing was burning on the bottom. And we are taking that biscotti dough out of the bowl, and we're going to go ahead and put it on a mat with a little bit of flour. And this is when I really just got it all together, folded it all into each other. And then you want to take each little piece apart. So you're going to make 5 different loaves of this biscotti. So go ahead and put it into 5 sections, and then you're going to form it into a little loaf. And it's super easy to do. I love baking Christmas cookies. It's pretty much a tradition. Every year I pick a day, usually very close to Christmas, usually a few days prior. This was Monday of this week, of Christmas week. And I like to do that just to make sure everything's nice and fresh. We deliver to our friends on Christmas Eve, and then we take them with us to my husband's brother's house on Christmas Day. So I just like everything to be nice and fresh. So I love, and it takes the entire day because obviously I'm making so many cookies and so many different things that it definitely eats up the entire day. And then some. We actually will be doing a little bit tomorrow as well. But I love it. I love doing it every year. My kids look forward to it every year. But funny enough, the only cookie my kids will eat is our chocolate chip cookies. So, although my youngest did love the hot chocolate cookie that we are getting together right now. So this is a hot cocoa cookie. Highly recommend. Anyone who tries it loves it and raves about them. So these are definitely a staple cookie that I make every year as well. And this is the only dough that I made that actually had to chill in the refrigerator, I believe. So I'm getting this together knowing that it has to chill in the refrigerator for quite a few hours too. I believe the recipe says 4 hours. So I wanted to get this together and put in the fridge before I went any further. But the biscotti is now done for the first round in the oven. So you bake it in the oven, and take it out, and then you slice it into your biscotti slices. So it's very easy to do. At this point, it will not crumble on you. Just make them as thick or thin as you like them. And I'm just slicing them all in, trying to be equal, but you do not have to be perfect. Really easy to do. And like I said, a biscotti was something that always intimidated me. But it actually is really easy to do. So if you've been thinking about doing it and are unsure, just try it because I think you'll really love the results and you'll see that it's really not that hard. And I am by no means a professional baker at all. I'm just a mom who likes to bake and make cookies for my kids. So I find these pretty darn simple. And now they're all sliced and they are going to go back in the oven to just harden up just a little bit longer. So while those are hardening up in the oven, we are going to finish our hot cocoa cookie dough to be able to go ahead and get it into the refrigerator. And these hot cocoa cookies are so good. They have like a brownie type batter that you can see here. It is so thick and so good. And you put them in the oven, they cook, they set, you take them out, you put a half a marshmallow in them, and then they get a really delicious icing on top. They are a complete indulgence for the Christmas season. I don't know that I ever want to make these any other time of year because we've been living, or I should say I've been living on cookies for the past week and a half. That's pretty much all I've been eating, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's really bad. So we're going to get this covered up and into the refrigerator. I am doing a lot of batches of these peanut butter cookies. This recipe makes a ton. So just getting another bunch of those out of the oven and putting the biscotti, like I said, back in the oven. You just want to finish getting that hardened up. And this biscotti was great. It wasn't too hard. It kind of had like a soft inside and a harder outside. And they get dipped in chocolate. They were just so good. And this recipe made a ton too. A really good gift to give to anyone. And here is our candy chocolate. And it just is melting so nicely. It would look so good. I mean, I just wanted to bathe in this. It just looks so delicious. So, so good. And I've made chocolates before, but never something this simple as just throwing in a bunch of chocolate and some peanuts into a slow cooker. So I wasn't sure how it was going to come out. Of course, if you have any allergies or just don't like peanuts, you can totally leave out the peanuts. But I thought this was going to be super yummy. So just giving that a really good stir and making sure nothing was sticking or overheating in the bottom. And then taking some mini cupcake liners. These I found at Walmart. They're actually Valentine's Day ones, but I thought they were just fine for Christmas. And it's easier, as the recipe suggests, to put these into a mini muffin tin, so that it's just easier to get the chocolate put into. And then I actually go ahead and put them in the freezer to just quicken the hardening process, which doesn't, you pop this in the freezer for 5 minutes and they're pretty much done. And this recipe could not have been easier. I know you could have totally done this on the stove as well, but it's just really nice not having to worry about it burning as much. When I melt chocolate on the stove, I just have a tendency to walk away and do other things, and then I scorch the chocolate. So this was just a really easy and convenient way to do this. And then I'm just taking a spoon and just filling up these cupcake liners. Couldn't be simpler. And then we're gonna pop it into the freezer. And this made a ton. Like, I actually probably should have this recipe. You'll see how much it makes later in the video, but this makes a ton. But such a good gift idea is just for someone you just want to give a little something to, a little sweet treat. It really makes such a cute gift. I have these Christmas sprinkles that I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle on top. This is a great recipe for any time of year. Like I said, I plan on freezing some and keeping them for Valentine's Day, because it's just, you don't even have to put any sprinkles at all, and it's just a chocolate peanut candy. So really fun. And these peanut butter cookies, this recipe makes a ton. So I am just, every time, anytime one batch comes out, another batch gets put in, and we're going to keep rolling along. We got lots of cookies ahead of us. Getting the biscotti out now, which is completely done cooking. So we are going to let these cool off completely before we dip them in some dark chocolate. And when I told you they made a ton, they made a ton. And I probably even cut them a little thick. I probably even could have gotten a couple more slices out of it. But that really came out so, so good. Checking to see if they needed to go back in, but they were really perfect. And keeping up with the dishes because I did not want to get behind. I knew that I was going to get backed up really easily. So just wanted to keep the dishes clean. And like I said, I'm using the same bowl for each recipe. So just cleaning it out each time after I make each dough. And these silicone molds I got off of Amazon, and they're going to be for some peanut butter chocolates that we're going to make. They're so cute and so yummy, and another really easy thing to do. Again, that almond, that same dark, or it's not dark chocolate, it's milk chocolate almond bark from Walmart. And then this time mixed with the vanilla almond bark and some peanut butter. And peanut butter can totally be left out if you have any allergies, but we love some peanut butter. So we are just getting this all melted down, and it melted so nicely. Getting it nice and ooey gooey. While I have our other chocolate melting in our slow cooker. I told you there's going to be a lot of chocolate in this video. A lot of chocolate and a lot of sugar. But isn't that what the holidays is all about? And these guys came out so good. This was after popping them in the freezer for about 10 minutes or so, transferring them onto a plate before I get another batch over into the freezer. And these really did come out so good. and putting them in the mini muffin tin just made it so much easier to even transport back and forth into the freezer. This was my first time using these little tiny molds for chocolate, and I wasn't sure how easy it was going to be to get the chocolate into the mold neatly. I was having a little bit of trouble with the spoon, so my husband had bought these kind of syringes for painting, and I thought, well, maybe that'll work. Yeah, no, didn't. It was too much. It was too hard to get the chocolate in it, and as you can see, I made a huge mess. So we kiboshed the syringe idea and we went back to the good old spoon. And actually this recipe suggests putting it into a squirt bottle, which I can totally see that working so well. So after just doing a little bit of back and forth, we finally got those all nicely put into the silicone molds. I decided to use some of this chocolate that I melted for the chocolate candies for the peanut butter cookies. Now I always dip these peanut butter cookies, but I usually dip it in the chocolate that the recipe calls for. But I had so much of this chocolate, it was just so silly to let it go to waste or to make so many chocolate candies that I just used this, and it was peanut butter chocolate anyway, so it was perfect. So after the cookies cool completely, you'll want to dip them into some of this chocolate or the chocolate that, you know, the recipe calls for, and just put some sprinkles on there before the chocolate gets too hardened. And I'm telling you, these are winners. They are so soft, and the best thing about them is that they stay soft even, days later. They're really, really good. They're definitely a cookie that people remember each year and ask for. So highly recommend, if you make any cookies out of this video, that you make some of those. And here are those chocolates. They came out so stinking cute. I love these silicone molds. You can use them for a million different things, and making chocolate candy is just one of the really fun things to do with them. So I was really happy all in all on how those came out. I was super, super happy. And there's the biscotti that I had dipped in the dark chocolate. And I'm just giving you a quick little view right now, but I go back and I show you guys later on a little more closer view of everything. But those Grinch cookies I'm going to show you, we actually made the night before for a Grinch night that me and my kids had together. Those Grinch cookies are super easy to make too. They use a vanilla box cake mix to make them, and they're really good. I am getting the hot cocoa cookies into the oven now. It's way later. We are definitely into the nighttime, and the sink is yet again full. So I wanted to get all these silicone molds into the dishwasher and all this chocolatey stuff out of the sink at this point. And at this point I was definitely starting to get a little bit tired. I had been in the kitchen all day, but we still had a lot of cookies to make, and I really wanted to get the majority of them done today. I had a few cookie recipes I knew I was going to be making the next day. I knew I was going to make my chocolate chip cookie the next day. That's something we make all year long, all the time. So I'm gotten super fast at doing that. So I was going to save that for the next day. And then I wind up making a couple of others as well. But I'm definitely getting a little bit tired at this point. But I am in a cookie baking mode. So we're just going to keep on trucking along. I'd love to know if you have any cookies that you bake every year, some tried and true recipes that you make from your family that has been passed down. My sister makes the Italian rainbow cookies every year, and they come out so delicious. I used to make an Italian anise cookie every year, and it's funny, I don't like licorice at all, and anise is extract is basically like a licorice flavor to it, and I love those cookies. For whatever reason, I didn't make them this year, and my husband actually asked if I was making them too. I think I am going to bring them back next year. I did kind of regret not making them. These are the marshmallows that we're going to be adding to our hot cocoa cookies when they come out of the oven. And then they get put back in just for about 2 to 3 minutes just to soften that marshmallow before you let them completely cool and add on the delicious icing that goes on top of these. And these are a hit and a half. So don't sleep on those if you just want a good cookie recipe to get you through the winter. These hot cocoa cookies are delicious. This is the icing that goes on top of the cookies, and it's just a really good icing recipe in general. And at this point, since I knew I wasn't going to be doing a ton more baking this night, I was starting to put things away that I knew I wasn't going to be needing anymore. So I'm trying to clean up as I go. And the icing, there's no rhyme or reason to what you do here. You just kind of lay it on there and sprinkle some red or whatever sprinkles you have. Totally not necessary, but just makes them look a little more fun and festive. And cleaning off my KitchenAid now. I've had this KitchenAid for a lot of years. It's definitely brought me through a lot of Christmas cookie baking, and I actually sprayed it a different color, and I actually think after the holidays in the winter I might spray it a different color for this spring, but it was so easy that I'm actually excited to do it again. Cleaning up this area now because I'm going to get that put back over here, and just trying to clean up a little bit now before we actually sit down to eat our pot roast that was almost done, and it was smelling so good. We had lots of icing to get on top of these cookies. Cleaned up, it was time to get the pot roast out of the slow cooker, and I was so thankful that I did this today and I got this in nice and early because I was in no mood to start cooking a full-blown dinner at this point. Getting some juice from the crock pot into this pan, and we're going to just thicken it up to just put some delicious gravy right down over the top of that pot roast. And I'll link this recipe down below too. It's the only pot roast recipe I use when I do it in the slow cooker, and it turns out perfection every single time. Camera's getting a little fogged up. It is so yummy and the perfect thing on these cold 20-degree nights that we need. And I was looking really forward to it after baking all these cookies all day long for sure. Now we are moved on to the next day, and yes, that's buffalo chicken dip. All we do, or I should say all I do in this house, is cook and bake. So I am now making my tried and true chocolate chip cookie recipe, and I make this recipe probably 2 to 3 times a month, and that's only because when I make it I double, quadruple the batches. That way we have it in our fridge to last us for a little bit before I go ahead and make a whole new fresh batch. So these are the only cookies my kids ever ask for. They are the only cookies my kids ever want. So I have to include them into our Christmas cookie baking extravaganza, or my children would be very mad at me. I am making a peppermint cookie now that it was a last minute decision, and this is actually later in the night the next day. So I wasn't planning on doing a full-blown baking again, but I saw these and I wanted to try them. They definitely were not my favorite, and it may be because I actually did not have peppermint extract. I had mint extract, and peppermint is definitely a more potent and intense flavor. So maybe had I used the peppermint extract, I would have liked them a little bit more. They were just okay. They were super pretty to look at, especially the tinge of pink to the icing. I don't know that I'll make them again, but never say never. I am rolling up some more of our chocolate chip cookie recipes to their dough and getting it into the oven. And these only need 10 minutes to cook. You take them out, they won't look done, but they are done, and they're just the best chocolate chip cookie ever. Going to crush up some candy canes to put on top of those peppermint cookies, and they needed it, definitely, since I used the mint extract. It definitely added that little pepperminty flavor. And this is just a really simple hack to, not really a hack, but I know that they sell peppermint, like crushed up peppermint in the store, and it can be pretty pricey for what you get. So you can buy a ton of candy canes and just, crush them all up like this, and it works just the same. So just crushing up some candy canes and getting them on the top of these iced peppermint cookies. And they were super pretty, like I said, to look at. They were good. I think they needed the peppermint extract for sure to get them over the edge for me, and for me to maybe make them again. I might try it again. These would actually be even super cute for Valentine's Day with the pink coloring. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if the mood strikes me. Now I am going to go ahead and package some of these cookies up to give some of our friends on Christmas Eve. And normally I have tins and I have doilies and the plastic wrap that, the Christmas Eve plastic wrap to kind of wrap it up in. Normally I do it pretty big every year, but I didn't have a ton of tins, and I also, to be honest with you, was not in the mood to go searching for all my doilies and all of that. It was just a lot of baking and it was super late. So I just decided to stack these up in these clear baggies, and it worked out just fine. I did put a little piece of wax paper between each variety of cookie, just so that they wouldn't mingle too much. Getting them all stacked in there, and then I'm going to twist tie them closed, and I am making 4 different packages of these. And then I'm also going to package up the peanut butter chocolate candies and the peanut Crackpot candy that we made. I'm going to package that up separately and go ahead and put them all in a bag for my Christmas elf, aka my husband, to deliver to some friends on Christmas Eve. These silicone candy molds are so cute and the perfect idea for really any holiday. I'd be super cute to make some heart-shaped candies to give out to some friends for Valentine's Day. You can do Easter candies. Oh my gosh, the possibilities are endless. So if you ever see those silicone molds, sometimes the Dollar Tree even sells them. Snatch them up because you can use them for a million different things. This is a platter that I was putting together for Christmas Eve. We do Christmas Eve big in our house. And desserts are usually basically all the cookies that I have baked, as well as my sister. And so we were just getting a platter of that to put aside for Christmas Eve. Now I'm just filling out these gift tags that I had gotten from TJ Maxx. I thought they were really cute to put on to the bag of cookies and chocolates that I'm going to be handing out to some, like I said, to some friends. And that blue container there is going to go with me on Christmas Day to my brother-in-law's house. So that is nice and done. And like I said, these cookies go far. Yes, it's a lot of sugar. Yeah, it's a lot of chocolate, and a lot of butter, but they definitely go far. And a lot of people get to enjoy them. So it makes me really happy to be able to bring them and to give them to everyone. I love it. And just putting on some bows that I had from Walmart that I had gotten, and I always know I can always use these for something. So just tying a few of those onto these brown paper bags, and they're going to be ready to go. And this was it. This was Christmas cookie baking extravaganza 2024. Was so excited to be able to make all these yummy treats and share them with all of you. I hope that you do try one or some of these really, really delicious and adorable cookie and candy ideas. These little silicone mold chocolate candies, I just can't get over. They came out so stinking cute. Let me know what your favorite Christmas cookie is. I'd love to hear your family traditions and some of your favorite cookie recipes that have been passed down from year to year. It's really fun to hear everybody's different likes and what they enjoy having during the holiday season for whatever holiday you may celebrate. I hope that you and your family had a beautiful and blessed Christmas, Hanukkah, any holiday that you celebrate. I hope you got to enjoy it with friends and family and those around you that you love. Thank you so much for being here. I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up. I'd love to stay a while and hang with you some more.